everyone. I'm Rachel.
And I'm David.
Join us for a tour of the Carnival Panorama.
Let's
Let's go!
go!
The Carnival Panorama debuted in 2019 and carries about 4,000 guests at double occupancy, with a crew of around 1,450. After spending a week on board cruising the Mexican Riviera, we'll start our tour at the very top and work down through every common space. Deck 15 is Serenity, the adults-only retreat at the front of the ship. It's a 21 and up area with cushioned loungers, shaded clamshells, and 2 whirlpools. There's a Fresh Creations salad station on sea day afternoons and a full bar. We found it crowded even on sea days, but it's a nice place to escape the craziness of the Lido deck.
In the aft of Deck 14 are the Skyride bikes and ropes course. Both are included in your cruise fare, and they're very fun for the daredevils in your group, but keep in mind there is a weight limit and a height limit for each of those. Even though the forward part of Deck 14 houses the salon and some of the spa treatment rooms, they can only be accessed through the main spa entrance on Deck 12. The majority of the spa is on that deck, including the thermal suites, more treatment rooms, relaxation room, and a giant fitness center that spans the entire width of the ship.
Outside on Deck 12 is where the action kicks in. Waterworks has 2 water slides, a drencher, and some family play areas to escape the heat. Some comfy loungers line the deck for soaking up the sun on your way towards the Sports Square. Sports Square houses the jogging track that circles the aft of the ship, a mini golf course, and an enclosed court that's ideal for basketball or pickleball. In the middle is the clubhouse, where you can play ping pong, foosball, or pool. Deck 11 has a lot of open deck space with comfy chairs to watch the dive-in movies on the big screen. Inside is Camp Ocean, the hub for kids on board. Further in the aft, accessed through the stairs from the floor below, are 2 of the Panorama's added cost restaurants. Gigi Asian Kitchen specializes in Asian dishes with a twist, while Cucina del Capitano serves up Italian fare. Both are open for lunch most days at no additional cost, and are generally a hidden, quieter lunch spot for busy embarkation days. Deck 10 is the traditional Lido deck. Midship is the beach pool with tiers of loungers and the big pool party vibes. It's the spot for trivia by the pool, line dances, and movies on the big screen. It's surrounded by the Red Frog Rum Bar as well as the Blue Iguana Tequila Bar.
Food on the Lido deck is exactly where you expect it. Guy's Burgers joint turns out fresh patties and toppings just steps away from the main pool. The Blue Iguana Cantina handles tacos and burritos for breakfast, lunch, and dinner on the opposite side of the deck.
Inside the Lido Marketplace, you get the buffet spread from breakfast through dinner. It's your traditional cruise buffet with soft serve and rotating menus that tend to match the main dining room. Walk straight through the back of the ship for the added cost seafood shack or included Pizzeria del Capitano. They have pizza slices ready to go, or you can order a fresh personal pizza if you're willing to wait a few minutes. Both are great spots to grab quick food between swims at the Tides pool. It has great aft views, 2 hot tubs, and is served by the Tides bar.
Decks 8 and 9 are primarily staterooms, and Deck 7 is where the Panorama tucks one of its most unique features, the Sky Zone. It's an added cost indoor trampoline park, and it's great for families or kids at heart. If you want to participate, we recommend scheduling your session early for your best availability.
Deck 6 houses Circle C and Club O2, both of the teen areas on board. They're right down the hall from the Warehouse Video Arcade, where kids of all ages can play some classic games at sea.
Deck 5 is the Promenade deck. Outdoor spaces wrap completely around the ship, although the Havana pool area is restricted to guests who purchased a certain room type. But the Havana bar is open to everyone and has a very lively nightlife.
Ocean Plaza is where you'll find live music sets, dance classes, game shows, and trivia throughout the day. It has an outdoor seating area and its own bar, including a pop-up empanada and pie counter with both included and added cost options. Next door, Java Blue Cafe and Shake Spot are your venue for specialty coffees and desserts, all at an added cost. If you want some extra special keepsakes for your cruise, Dream Studios is the place for professional photography shoots. Guy's Pig and Anchor Smokehouse and Brewhouse brings live music, delicious barbecue, and house-brewed beers. Pricing is a la carte, so you pay as you go, or they have a free lunch buffet most days. They also do brewery tours.
The Alchemy Bar serves up custom cocktails for the nearby restaurants, including Bonsai Sushi, Bonsai Teppanyaki, and Fahrenheit 555 Steakhouse. These restaurants offer premium meals for an added cost cover charge. The Piano Bar 88 has lively music in the evenings, but is also a very peaceful and quiet place to hang out during the day.
The nearby library is a great place to rent board games or books, but we found that it was closed a lot for art storage. Right outside is the top level of the Panorama's Atrium. Some of Carnival's signature fun shops line the atrium on your way to the Liquid Lounge. The Liquid Lounge is the main theater on board, spanning decks 4 and 5 at the front of the ship. This is where they put on playlist production shows as well as host guest entertainers. The seats aren't bolted to the ground, which means they can customize it for every show. We prefer to sit at the front of a section for clean sight lines, but the balcony is also great for a wider view if you don't mind looking through a glass panel. More fun shops, including the Cherry on Top candy store, line the atrium on deck 4 outside of the theater, and that leads right to the casino. The Panorama's casino is large, with its own bar and both slot machines and tables. The main casino allows smoking on one side of the aisle, but just outside is a smaller non-smoking area with limited slots and table games as well.
Past the casino is the Heroes Tribute Lounge, a sports bar with giant screens where it is themed around honoring our veterans. Keep heading aft and you will find the Limelight Lounge, where they host the comedy club shows before turning it into an onboard club late at night. The upper level of the Vista restaurant, one of the Panorama's main dining rooms, rounds out Deck 4.
The Panorama has two main dining rooms, the Vista and the Horizon. Both have entrances on Deck 3, though the Vista can only be accessed by using the aft stairs or elevators. Both dining rooms host breakfast, brunch, or lunch on select days. Dinner runs with set time and your time options, with the same menu in both rooms. It's a classic white tablecloth cruise dining experience, and it's easy to see the menu or reserve a table last minute on the Carnival Hub app. Deck 3, the lobby level, is your atrium. Guest services, shore excursions, and another Dream Studio photography office line the space. But its real draws are the giant circular bar and the open space where sail away music and sea day parties kick off. The giant cone screen is easily customizable for any party theme the cruise director can whip up. There are no common spaces on decks 2 or 1, so that rounds out our tour of the Carnival Panorama. Now we'll share our thoughts about the ship after sailing for over a week.
Thanks everyone for joining us on our tour of the Carnival Panorama. Overall, I feel like the spaces are designed a little bit weird, and we actually saw this with one other Carnival ship that we were on as well. The spaces are all very cramped feeling because the ceilings are very low. Even in lounges, bars, common areas, pretty much anywhere except for the atrium that has multiple floors or the pool deck, I just feel like all of the spaces feel very contained. And if I was a claustrophobic person, I probably would feel claustrophobic on this ship.
Yeah, I could see that being like a pretty big issue for some people. I don't think like there's enough width in the walkways. So even with that, even with people moving around, I could see it being very, very claustrophobic. Now, don't get me wrong, like the ship's still awesome and it's a great time, but I could see that really starting to bother people, especially on longer cruises.
Well, I just don't feel like they're utilizing the space efficiently.
Yeah.
And one thing that we've both been saying is we just feel like we're always in somebody's way.
I've never had that with any other ship. I think there's just an issue with how traffic is being manipulated throughout the ship and how you're expected to walk and where you're expected to walk. And there's like weird pillars in certain places. And I think that's really kind of maneuvering traffic in a weird way too. I don't know. Just something we wanted to mention, but very weird.
But let's talk about the food.
Oh, yeah.
This is actually a highlight. I hear people talk crap about Carnival's food a lot. And I will say for me, this ship has some of the best casual dining food I have ever had on a cruise.
Yeah, casual dining's the key word there,
Yeah,
right?
we actually have not done the main dining room for dinner at
Mhm.
all. We've been in the main dining room for brunch, but the menus just don't look appetizing to us. And especially on this ship, at least, all of the offerings in the main dining room, or the majority of them, are offered in the buffet, which, granted, they're not going to be as fresh. They're not
No.
made to order in the buffet for you, but you can at least get a sample of what it is. And for us, there's just so many other better options that you can have those instead.
Yeah, like I want to clarify, we have been to the main dining room on other Carnival ships, so we kind of know what to expect. We know what the service is like, so we kind of like want to just get our food and do our own thing. Don't really want to invest that much time into it. So, in my opinion, the food has been awesome.
Yeah, I mean, they have Guy's Burgers. You have Blue Iguana Cantina that
Mm.
has different kinds of Mexican foods. You can get tacos or burritos. And then in the lunchtime, they actually have some of their specialty dining rooms that you have to pay for at night.
Hmm.
They're free for lunch.
Yeah.
So there's just lots of options. They also have a pizza place.
Mm.
A lot of these places change what they have between breakfast and lunch. Sometimes they're open for dinner, depends on the port day. But there's just a lot of really great options that
Yeah.
we've really enjoyed. I will say though, the buffet is probably one of the weakest buffets we've ever had.
Yeah.
Again, it mirrors what's in the main dining room, which the menus haven't been advertising to me so far this cruise, but also just like the variety outside of that, and the salad bar is a little bit weak. I just it's not really been my favorite buffet.
I do want to give the buffet a little bit of credit where it's due. I do think the breakfast buffet actually is awesome. I think they actually do a really good job for breakfast. I feel like the eggs are actually cooked. They're not like mushy. The bacon's actually crispy. The sausage patties, half of them were pretty good, I would say. But overall, I do think it's actually a pretty strong breakfast buffet. But all your points are completely valid. I feel like the dinner buffet, I'm like walking through, I'm like, maybe.
Yeah, and there's plenty of seating. We actually haven't had a problem
Mm,
finding a seat, which is sometimes a problem on other cruises we've been on.
yes.
So that's a plus for it too. And even, there's a couple of dining restaurants right outside the buffet, and you can get your food there and bring it in where it's cooler.
I
So
like that,
that's a
yeah.
plus as
That's
well.
awesome, yeah. And I would say the service has actually been really good in terms of how they clean the tables in the
Oh yeah.
buffet. It's instant, man, like and they're super nice and super sweet. They've been awesome on this trip. It's so fast, and it's really you can kinda tell that they're able to turn tables over so fast, and that's one of the reasons that there's so many tables available. Love that. It's awesome.
Well, and speaking of cleanliness, just in general, the ship is insanely clean.
Yes.
A lot of people give Carnival a bad rep for the clientele
Mhm.
and just like that it's not clean, or there's lots of kids running around. But literally, there are workers cleaning like every inch of the ship, like
Yeah.
all day, every day. We see people cleaning the walls,
Yeah.
cleaning the ceilings. They clean
We
off a
yeah.
slot machine between people, and the casino's full all the time.
Yeah, we literally saw somebody vacuuming the wall,
Yeah.
and
It's
it's incredible.
Yeah, and the buffet gets deep cleaned between every meal. Like
Yeah.
they are constantly cleaning.
Yeah.
I have never felt so safe.
Yeah, I've seen them scraping the grill, at Guy's Burgers. They get the whole thing nice and pristine, and we've walked by when it was closed, and it looks spotless. It's
Yeah.
actually ridiculously impressive. You just don't really see that. I guess the only kind of unclean thing, I haven't seen anybody policing the hand washing stations going into the buffet, so maybe another knock against the buffet. There's not really somebody there doing the washy-washy thing. And so one of the things I really look for on cruises is kind of the scheduled activities, and I will say I've had a pretty good time with that. I just wish there was a little bit more of it. I feel like we were constantly looking for things to do.
So the way that Carnival does their activities is a little different from some of the other cruise lines we've cruised on. So during the day is when all of the really, in our opinion, good activities are. So there's trivias, there's game shows, things like that happen all during the day. And then the evenings are for the shows, which we do enjoy those as
Yeah,
well. But it's a lot of like live music and dancing around the ship, and those aren't really our things. And so for us, there's all of the things are stacked during the day, which sometimes are you're in port during the activities you want to do, and then the evenings, you're like, well, there's a show. Great. That's
yeah.
45 minutes.
There's karaoke. There's several
Yeah.
karaoke sessions.
Like,
There's
what do I do with the rest of my night after my 45-minute show? Because I mean, I guess I go to the casino,
yeah,
but
lots of
there's,
comedians too. I've
yeah, they
noticed
have a lot of comedians.
they're like different age ranges,
Yeah.
but they can be kind of risque or whatever. But
Yeah. Everything that we've gone to, I have fully
yeah,
enjoyed. The trivias are fun. I enjoy the prizes they give out for trivia.
yes, very good.
And I think that the shows are actually really good by and large. Like they're so totally different from other cruise ship shows we've
Yeah,
seen. And the cast has been stellar. But yeah, I agree. Like it's good. And if you really like live music, you're gonna have the time of your life.
yeah. I think this is definitely the kind of a cruise where you want to go hang out in the public spaces and just vibe with the music. It's going to be awesome. I think this is like the perfect cruise line for something like that.
Yeah, and the dive-in movies, as they call them on
Mm,
Carnival, are actually, playing the same movies multiple times, which is kind of weird to me
that is
because this is
weird.
only a 7-day cruise. So why they'd repeat ones, I'm not
And
sure.
then they didn't put the NFL games on the big screen, which I thought that was very weird.
But the actual configuration for it is pretty nice.
Yeah,
Like the screen is not that big, but they have multiple levels, and they have like even cushy loungers and stuff. So I do like their configuration. As long as you like the movie they're playing, it's definitely worth doing.
I'd say it's also way more popular than I've seen on other cruise
Yes.
lines. Now, I will say we talked about it a little bit, but the configuration of the casino is nice because we do appreciate the smoke-free casinos. And I will say though, this casino has been so busy. It's like the
Oh my god.
busiest parts of the ships. It feels incredibly lucky to even find a machine that's open, let alone to win on one. I do think that the variety of games is awesome, but again, finding a machine that you really want to play, it's kind of a letdown, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's been really, really crowded. And I will say that even in the smoking casino, they do have non-smoking side of
Yeah,
it.
that's cool.
But even with that, it's still pretty smoky.
Yeah.
Like you do smell it considerably. So the non-smoking casino is a little annex off of the side, and that's really nice. But the variety of gaming in there is not nearly as good as it could be. They actually have a lot more tables in. We're actually in here right now. They have a lot more tables in here than they do slot machines, it feels like, and there's nobody ever playing the tables. There's only ever people playing the slot machine.
But at least the denominations vary quite a bit on the
Yeah.
tables. I think like the lowest I saw was $10. And what I could see were the dealers were actually pretty into it. They actually seemed like they were having fun. And that can be a luxury to people who play table games. You know, it's kind of hard to, sometimes to find a dealer that's actually into it. So it seemed like people were actually having a pretty good time with that.
And so overall, what are our thoughts about the clientele on the ship? Again, you hear a lot of things about Carnival, and we just want to give you our honest opinion. This is not our first Carnival cruise, but it is our first time going to Mexico from California, so we didn't really know what to expect there. And I will say this is not a school break time at all, but there are still a lot of kids. Probably the most kids of any cruise line we've ever been on. Whether that makes you happy because your kids will have somebody to play with, or whether you'll be unhappy because you don't want to be around kids.
I will
Um,
say too, though, that the age ranges is crazy. Like there's
yeah.
toddlers all the way up to 17, 18-year-olds, and it is everywhere. It's in the pools, it's in the restaurants. So it's really unavoidable outside of the adults only area, which gets crazy packed.
And one thing you hear us talk about a lot is the Wi-Fi, because we do tend to take work with us when we go. And I can honestly say this might be the worst Wi-Fi we have ever had.
Yeah.
And if you are familiar with Carnival, you know that you have to pay for your Wi-Fi. So we actually paid for the top tier, the premium Wi-Fi, which is the most expensive and says you should be able to stream. And we were able to stream, but there are days where everything except for social media just won't load. So social media is fine. And even
Yeah.
like Spotify
Hmm.
is fine. But you can't load google.com.
No, yeah, literally Google wouldn't
And it's
load.
all day.
Yeah. It's probably the most unreasonable thing that's happened to us on this ship because I've been on Carnival Wi-Fi before. I know it actually works really, really well, and the infrastructure for it is actually really good. So to see it reacting this way is just completely unacceptable. And it's not just one day. This has been consistent throughout the trip.
And we went to guest services, as you
Hmm.
should if you have some sort of problem on the ship. And they clicked around on my laptop a little bit, actually disabled some things that made other things not load.
Yeah.
And then basically told us, yeah, we know there's a problem, just wait.
Yeah.
And then we waited, and then a little bit later that day, it came back and it was fine for a few hours, and then it broke again.
Yeah.
So consistently, there's something on the ship that's causing, browsers to just not load things. And we don't know what that is. And guest services seems they don't understand what it is either.
The internet issue got so bad that we were actually looking at future cruises on Carnival, and we had an option to do this ship again fairly cheap. And we opted for a different ship simply because we know the Wi-Fi on here has been awful. And not granted, I do know that location makes a difference, cloud coverage makes a difference. This was a little bit different, simply because we know it was working. Like things can
Well,
work.
and I have been to this exact location a
Mhm.
few weeks ago, and I had perfect Wi-Fi on
Yeah.
a different cruise line.
So we're going to opt into a different Carnival ship because the Carnival experience is still great. But we had to mention the Wi-Fi. It's borderline unacceptable. It's almost to the point where we wanted to ask for a refund or a partial refund on the streaming package because we did uppay.
It's so
Yeah.
expensive
Yeah.
that that's why we're upset about it. If it wasn't so expensive,
Yeah.
then it is what it is.
And there are lots of people out there, it's totally valid, that don't get the internet package
Yeah.
at all. They don't want to touch the internet. They want to disconnect from everything. I think that's actually an awesome way to
Yeah.
travel. Unfortunately, we're trying to do some work in the process and kind of get content out to you guys. So it was impossible. So really something to keep in mind if you're thinking about working, or maybe you do just like having the internet and doing your own thing. Really, really bad this trip, unfortunately.
But overall, it's been a really great cruise. We've really enjoyed the ship. It has all the things that you need, and it has some really cute little unique features. Like, I love their candy store.
Oh yeah.
That's just a fun little thing on top, and has a lot of little pockets of areas that you can go and hang out, and that can
Yeah.
be quiet and just enjoy time with your family. So,
Yeah, even the library is gorgeous. Like it's
yes.
beautiful. There's certain places on the ship I really do think are beautiful and really well thought out, and then just other places that aren't bad. It's just not that great. And so overall for me, just my personal opinion, I do think that the ship is actually really, really good overall. And we kind of mentioned some things that really kind of bothered us about it, but again, we're kind of nitpicking just to kind of give you guys an idea of what to expect. And I still think like you're not going to go wrong being on this ship. I don't
No.
think if this is where your vacation is, maybe you didn't have a say, maybe it's a family vacation or something like that, and you're doing your research about the ship you're going to be on. It's awesome. So don't get us wrong. We just want to make sure people have the full picture. If you're going to have a great vacation, don't sweat the ship too much.
So, what do you think? Have you sailed on the Carnival Panorama? Do you have any comments or questions that we might have missed? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video and want to see more travel content from us, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. But for now, I'm Rachel,
And I'm David.
and we hope this video helps you find the right direction for your next adventure.
Bye.